this has been an annoying week on the internet for those of us that actually paid attention in civics or U.S. government as kids. And those of us that went on to law school and sat in constitutional law classes. It has been crazy to me. So what happened was that one person, it could have been a Republican operative, Republican bot, got on the internet and started yelling at Andy Beshear, Andy Beshear, you need to do something. And because that frustration with Democrats doing nothing has just been everywhere in this current administration, people have latched onto that and will not let it go because they don't have a good foundational understanding of civics, and they can't understand why Andy Beshear is doing all that he can do, and Democrats are in the best position they possibly could be in this whole Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell situation. So I'm gonna sit over here and explain it. But to be very clear, your girl was in honors U.S. government, went on to college, studied government in college. I was one class short of a minor, but anyway, and then went to law school and studied constitutional law, and then passed the bar. So to be very clear, this video is not a debate, because many of you all, I can tell that y'all don't have a good foundational understanding of civics. This is a lesson, all right? If you don't know who Thune is, Senator Thune, and don't know that he is now in leadership and not Mitch McConnell, because I can tell those of you who don't know that Thune, I think y'all think that Mitch McConnell is still in leadership. He not. It's Thune. And a lot of the anger that y'all have towards Beshear probably would be better suited at Thune, to be quite honest. Anywho, here is the key thing that many of y'all are missing. Andy Beshear, as the governor of Kentucky, his duty is only triggered by a vacancy. I know what the internet says. At the end of the day, Andy does not have a vacancy. He needs a death certificate or resignation. He has neither. So his duty is not triggered. Y'all want him to go to a hospital. I said, no, what he gonna do there? He gonna whip out his governor's badge, likely in Maryland or DC, because it's probably not in Kentucky. He gonna go up there and demand to see him? Like, y'all, be so for real. So that's number one. There is no vacancy. This is a bad precedent. You know that they're hiding him. This is not a precedent. Dianne Feinstein was in the hospital for 10 weeks. Well, we knew what was going on with her. We didn't. You just didn't care because it was Dianne Feinstein and not Mitch McConnell. You didn't know what was going on with her. I promise you didn't. There may have been one update. I don't think we ever got a picture of her in the hospital. We knew that she had shingles and that's it. And that we never had a clear date when she was coming back. Like, it just never was very clear. We had that Republican in the House who was gone for a minute as well, who apparently had depression. We didn't know anything about that either. Like this is not, to be quite honest, like the precedent, it's already been said. The person that has the authority to challenge Mitch on this is Thune. The Constitution is also, now, the senators could call a seat a vacancy. If a person has been gone, incapacitated, the Senate has that authority, part of the U.S. Constitution, not Andy Beshear. So the first challenge you have here, there's no vacancy. And the only people I think are really positioned per the Constitution would be the Senate. So again, energy, move it to Thune, not Beshear. Now, here's the part that I really be perplexed with, because we are down one Republican vote. That is to the Democrats' benefit. Okay, so if Andy, y'all are like, okay, well, Andy can just he should just go pick somebody. Well, there's a constitutional question in Kentucky. They passed some laws to try to pull the authority from Andy to pick a replacement. And so right now the law calls for a special election. Now I'm of the belief that Andy is not an idiot. He's an attorney general. He's a former attorney general and now the governor. Andy is going to challenge that. He thinks that the Constitution is in conflict with these state laws. But the challenge takes time, y'all. Like, it's not like, it won't just like, you won't get a rubber stamp tomorrow. That takes time. But again, it's not ripe yet. That's a legal term. It's not ripe yet because there's no vacancy. So Andy really can't even go to the court and ask this because it doesn't meet certain standards to even be able to go before a court. It's a political question. It's not ripe yet. He can't do that. He has to just sit here until he has a vacancy. Okay? So then people were like, so the way the law is set up is that it would require him to call a special election. So people are like, well, just call the special election. Baby, Kentucky is a red state. I know Andy is the governor, but Kentucky is still a red state. So why are we as Democrats rushing to call a special election that will likely result in an able-bodied Republican skipping his ass up to the White House, to the Capitol? Make that make sense. Y'all keep screaming for a special election that doesn't benefit us. And then people were like, well, if the tables were turned, Republicans would absolutely be calling for a special election. One thing about that evil turtle, Mitch McConnell, he is very strategic. They would not. And let me introduce y'all to my governor, Greg Abbott, and what he did right here in Houston. We had our former mayor was in the seat for Texas 18th, passes away suddenly. We are all shocked, everybody grieving, whatever. So we start moving to fill this seat. He died in March. People thought the special election would be in May. We had a very small election, something going on in May. People figured, okay, Abbott will call the special election to replace Mayor Turner in May. The deadline comes and goes. He has not called any special election. Hakeem Jeffries had to come down here and start demanding that he even call the special election. Once he called it for November. Now, keep in mind, we don't have any laws about how quickly he has to call a special, which is something, if we get a good governor, then we could do. So Greg Abbott held the 18th as long as he could because it benefited his party to have one less Democrat able to vote, because the 18th is a blue district. So we don't have to guess what Republicans would do. We just saw it last year. Republicans sat on a seat and didn't call a special election because they understood that being down one vote was to their benefit. So again, if you have legitimate questions, I'm happy to teach. I'm not debating people who was shooting spitballs in U.S. government while I was over there learning, because y'all are showing that y'all don't know what you're talking about. And again, if you feel like Mitch McConnell was hiding something or what have you, the pressure should be on Mitch McConnell. The pressure should be on Thune, who's in place that has the most authority against McConnell as the head of the Senate, and has the constitutional authority, I think, to call a vacancy. One could argue he got way more than Andy Beshear does. So again, y'all are so eager to find something to yell at a Democrat about, and y'all gonna yell y'all way into having a Republican interim. And I know the Republicans are over here kikiing and laughing like they dumb. This the best situation they have right now. And the other thing too, even if the courts decide that Andy Beshear does have the authority to call an interim, he has the other challenge of the Senate, per the U.S. Constitution, has the authority to seat senators. And he could decide that Andy Beshear's appointment cannot be seated for whatever reason he makes up. So there is a very, very narrow path to us replacing Mitch McConnell with a Democrat. It's possible, but it's a very, very narrow path. But our best path right now in this moment, we know one thing: Mitch ain't walking to the Capitol to go vote for our demise. That is a benefit. And y'all keep talking, we're gonna lose that benefit.